Thank you, Chairman. Welcome. Good to be in touch with all of you again. You look pretty good in 3D. Last time I saw you, you were like 1 inch by 1 inch square on a Zoom screen. So nice to have you here in person. I guess I'd like to ask each of you the same question, which aligns with the questions that Senator Markey has been asking you. We are seeing really dramatic climate consequences playing out. We've had huge companies like Cargill talk about massive drops in Midwestern grain production as a result of climate change. We've had firefighters fighting wildfires in seasons where it was never a thing before, and it's months outside of traditional fire season. We've seen just astonishing ocean warming and acidification, which isn't a big TVA thing. You guys aren't very near the coast, but for those of us who are coastal, it is a big deal, as particularly folks who are in the aquaculture industry find their entire crop killed off by acidified oceans that degrade and erode the shells of the oyster spat and clams and so forth that they're trying to grow. Over and over again, there's almost no place in America right now that isn't being immediately touched by adverse consequences of climate change, and it's hitting people hard in their pocketbooks. It's about a $5,000 per family cost, and that's a lot. And a lot of it comes from power plants, and TVA runs power plants, and you even have plans to build a new natural gas plant. So what specifically can each of you tell me about your decarbonization goals as a board member of TVA? Let me start with Mr. Rennick and go right across Mr. White and then Mr. Risch.
Thank you, Senator, for that question. If I'm confirmed to this board, I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to educate myself to the point that I will know how to make sound decisions. I do believe, having seen, and just in this past summer, many days of over 100-degree temperatures in Mississippi, which was it led to a major problem for the consumer. And I believe that the TVA should be a leader in searching out those renewable energy so that we can address those climate changes that we know that are occurring. It is not only a consumer issue, it's a humanitarian issue, and I take it very seriously.
Thank you, Senator. Obviously, renewables are going to be a part of the mix. It is coming. It's being pushed by even the companies that come into the TVA Valley. So it's going to be part of that. The amount the mix is going to be and how much we're going to do over the course of a few years or a lot of years is something that I'm completely open to. I look forward to working not only with TVA, but also with you, with your office, with your staff, to learn the things that you know. I want to know what you know about these things and make sure that we make the right decision, because one thing I've learned watching the TVA board meetings, reading material, is the decisions that we're going to make now are going to impact what they're able to do in 20 years. So I know that that's a serious thing. We've got to consider everything. Everything must be on the table, and I look forward to doing that if confirmed.
Thank you, sir. I think that one of the things is because it's such a complicated issue that we have an obligation to study, reevaluate, and look at the plans of TVA once, if we are confirmed, and be able to get back with you on some of the questions that were raised, because it is critical to us that and the country that we do this right.
And right includes decarbonizing the mix as fast as prudently feasible, correct? And doing this right includes decarbonizing your energy mix as rapidly as is prudently feasible, correct?
Yes, sir, as rapidly as feasible. Yes, sir, I agree with that.
Yep. Let me just say one last thing, and I'll let you go. I don't need you to respond because I don't want to, be pulling any surprises. But for many years, particularly from 2001 to 2019, the TVA paid a group called the Utility Air Regulatory Group, which was an anti-climate industry lobbying group that opposed clean air regulations, opposed climate legislation, climate regulations. They were a hostile force in the efforts to solve this problem. They had enough of a credibility crash, I suspect, that they disbanded in 2019, but lawyers who were part of that UARG program continued to be supported and paid by TVA. So I will be continuing to pursue whether the way in which TVA funds its influence operation is aligned with the kind of values that we've been talking about today. Unfortunately, I live in a world in which, forget TVA, big American companies, banks, insurance companies, retail companies, talk with one side of their mouths about climate change to the public, to their shareholders, to consumers, but then they come here to this building and their lobby groups are either AWOL or hostile to the very ideas that those companies are claiming to espouse to those other audiences. And that has to be cleared up. It is really bad for a company to be caught speaking out of both sides of its mouth on an important public issue. And I think TVA needs to have credibility and integrity in the way it deals with its customers and the way it deals with Congress and our support for you. And I think it's really important that you make sure as board members that what you are saying and what your values are actually the ones that are being broadcast through the influence operation that TVA funds. So I just commend that thought to you as you begin service. We are certainly going to continue to look at that. Thank you.